Ahoy there, listeners! Today we're setting sail for a deep dive into the world of One Piece.
Ah, One
You
Piece.
guys shared some Wikipedia articles about both the manga and the anime, and wow, I gotta say, the
Yeah,
sheer scale of this franchise is
it
unbelievable.
really is massive.
We're talking the best-selling manga in history. A world
Absolute.
that just seems to go on forever,
Mm.
full of these crazy devil fruit powers
Yeah.
and this mysterious thing called Hawkeye.
Yeah, it's so
And
intriguing.
a story that's been captivating fans for over 2 decades.
It's incredible, isn't it?
So what is it about One Piece?
Yeah.
What's the secret to its success?
Well, I think what's really interesting is how One Piece takes these familiar elements like pirates and treasure,
Yeah.
and kind of weaves them into this world that feels both fantastical and strangely relatable.
I see what you mean. It's like our world, but with a little extra oomph. Like,
Yeah.
instead of continents, we have these massive oceans
Right?
separated by the red line, this giant mountain range that basically circles the entire globe.
Right. Yeah, and cutting right through it all is the Grand Line, this treacherous sea where all the real action goes down. Think unpredictable currents, crazy weather patterns, and
Huh.
islands that are just teeming with these bizarre creatures.
So it's basically Mount Everest, but for pirates.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, starting to understand why they call it the Grand Line.
Yeah.
But you mentioned bizarre creatures. We're not just talking like parrots and monkeys here, right?
Oh, no, no, no. We're talking fishmen who can breathe underwater, control the seas, giants that tower over ships, even people with long necks called the snake neck tribe. I mean, can you imagine the kind of societies and cultures that would develop in a world like that?
It really makes you think about how exploration and trade would even work with these huge geographical and societal barriers,
Mhm.
like one giant social experiment happening on a global scale.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I'm curious about those devil fruits too.
Yeah.
They give you these incredible powers, but then you can't swim anymore. That's a pretty high stakes gamble.
Yeah, it's a brilliant narrative device. It creates this constant tension between the allure of power and the risk that comes with it. You could gain the power to control fire or maybe transform into a mythical beast, but
But then you fall overboard.
exactly.
It definitely adds a whole other layer of strategy to every pirate battle. You can't just charge in without thinking about the environment and your own limitations.
Right.
And then there's Hikiki, which is even more mysterious.
It really is.
It's all about willpower and pushing your abilities to the limit.
Exactly. Hakiki is this potential that exists within everyone in the One Piece world, but only a select few can actually awaken it. And it's not just about physical strength, it's about mastering your spirit and using it to enhance your observation, your willpower, even your attacks.
So it's like the ultimate equalizer. Even someone without a devil fruit can still hold their own against a powerful opponent if they've mastered Hikiki.
Precisely. It brings this element of unpredictability to every fight. You never really know who has the upper hand until Hakeki comes into play.
Keeps things interesting.
For sure.
Now let's talk about our main character, Monkey D. Luffy. He's on this quest to become the king of the pirates by finding the legendary One Piece treasure. What is it about him that has captivated so many fans?
Luffy just embodies this infectious optimism and this unwavering determination that I think resonates with people on a deep level. His dream, to be the freest person on the sea, it speaks to that universal desire for freedom, adventure, and pursuing your passions no matter how impossible they may seem.
It's like he's living out everyone's childhood dream of just setting sail and exploring the unknown.
Exactly.
And those rebel powers, which he got from eating the gum-gum fruit, add this whole other level of whimsy and unpredictability to his fighting style.
Yeah, it's this perfect blend of goofy and badass. He can stretch his body to crazy lengths, bounce off attacks, deliver these devastating blows, all while grinning like a kid on a playground.
No wonder he's become such an iconic character.
Undeniable.
And of course, he's got his loyal crew, the Straw Hat Pirates, to back him up.
Always.
We don't have time to go into every single member.
Right.
But what are some of the standout personalities that make this crew so dynamic?
Well, you've got Zoro, the stoic swordsman with his three-sword style. It's both visually impressive and incredibly effective.
Right.
He's Luffy's first mate, and his loyalty to Luffy is unwavering. It's like a cornerstone of the crew's bond.
And he's got that whole getting lost thing, right?
Oh, yeah, always getting lost. It's part of his charm.
And then there's Nami.
Oh, Nami, the brilliant navigator.
As skilled at reading the seas as she is at, well, acquiring treasure.
let's just say she's not afraid to use her intelligence and her feminine wiles to get what she wants.
She definitely brings that pragmatism to the crew. I'm sure that's needed when you're sailing with a captain like Luffy.
Yeah.
What about the others?
Well, you can't forget Sanji, the suave chef, who's as passionate about cooking delicious meals as he is about beautiful women. He brings that touch of sophistication and chivalry to the crew, even though...
His chivalry sometimes gets him into trouble.
Exactly. Then you've got Usopp, the sniper, known for his tall tales and, surprisingly, his uncanny accuracy with a slingshot.
Oh, Usopp.
His character arc is actually really fascinating because he starts off as this cowardly liar, but gradually grows into this brave and resourceful member of the crew.
Yeah.
He embodies this idea that anyone can overcome their fears and achieve greatness, even if they have to fake it till they make it.
It's a classic underdog story.
It really is.
And the crew just keeps growing as the series goes on.
Oh, absolutely. They meet all sorts of fascinating characters along the way, some of whom even join their crew, each bringing their own unique skills and personalities to the mix. But at the core of it all, it's about that sense of found family.
Yeah.
They may be a ragtag bunch of misfits, but they have each other's backs no matter what.
That's what makes them so relatable. It's like the ultimate friend group going on these epic adventures and facing down impossible odds together. But let's zoom out a bit and talk about what's made One Piece such a global phenomenon.
It's really a combination of factors. Oda, the creator, is a master storyteller. He's crafted this incredibly detailed and immersive world with its own history, geography, even its own laws of physics. The world building is phenomenal, and his ability to weave in foreshadowing that pays off chapters, sometimes even years later, is just mind-boggling.
It's like he's playing 4D chess with the plot, and we're all just trying to keep up.
Exactly.
But it's not just the plot twists and the surprises, is it?
No, it's the characters, too. Oda has this knack for creating characters that are memorable, relatable, and deeply flawed. They have their own dreams, their own motivations, their own struggles, and they grow and evolve throughout the story, making you laugh with them, cry with them, and cheer for them every step of the way.
It's like watching a group of friends go through life, with all its ups and downs. But in this case, their lives are filled with pirates, giant sea monsters, and ancient mysteries.
Exactly. And Oda manages to balance this epic scope with these really intimate moments of character development. He'll have these huge battles with world-altering stakes, but then he'll zoom in on a quiet conversation between two crewmates or a flashback to a character's childhood that reveals their deepest fears and motivations.
It's that emotional depth that really sets One Piece apart. It's not just about the spectacle. It's about the human connections and the journeys of self-discovery that these characters go through.
Precisely. And it's also incredibly funny.
Oh, yeah.
Oda has a great sense of humor, and he's not afraid to inject some levity into even the most serious moments. He'll use slapstick, wordplay, visual gags, just to keep the tone light and engaging.
It's that blend of humor, action, and emotional depth that makes One Piece so addictive. You never know what's coming next, but you know it's going to be entertaining.
I always want more.
But speaking of entertaining, let's get into some of the mind-blowing details about the series' success. The numbers are just staggering.
They really are. Get ready to be impressed. As of August 2022, One Piece had over 516.6 million copies in circulation in 61 countries.
Wow.
To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire population of the European Union.
So basically, every man, woman, and child in Europe has their own copy of One Piece.
Pretty much.
That's wild. And it's not just about the quantity, is it? The series has also received critical acclaim and awards.
Oh, absolutely. It's won prestigious awards like the Japan Cartoonists Association Award Grand Prize and the Yomiuri Advertising Awards Golden Medal. Critics have praised everything from the storytelling and world building to the art style, character development, and that unique blend of humor and action we were just talking about.
Clearly, One Piece is resonating with people on a global scale. But what about those individual volume sales? I was reading about some record-breaking numbers.
Hold on to your hats because this is where things get even more impressive. Back in 2009, Volume 56 had a print run of 2.85 million copies, which was a record at the time. And then they just kept breaking their own records. Volume 60 was the first book ever to sell over 2 million copies in its opening week on the Oricon book rankings.
That's like selling out an entire stadium in a matter of days.
It's insane. And then in 2012, Volume 67 came out swinging with a 4.05 million initial print run.
That's crazy.
To give you some context, that's more copies than many successful book series sell in their entire lifetime.
Almost unfair to other manga, honestly.
Yeah.
And get this. As of May 2023, Every single one of the 105 volumes published had sold over 1 million copies. That kind of consistency is just unheard of.
It really is. One Piece has been the top-selling manga by volume for over a decade. It's the only series to achieve that kind of dominance on the Oricon Weekly comic charts.
Officially convinced that this is a global phenomenon.
I just should be.
But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the impact of One Piece beyond just sales figures. I read about a really heartwarming story about some statues that were created after the 2016 earthquakes in Kumamoto Prefecture.
Oh, the bronze statues of the Straw Hat Pirates?
Yes. Oda, the creator of One Piece, stepped up to help the community recover by creating 10 statues, one for each member of the crew, and placing them throughout the prefecture.
It was a beautiful gesture. The first statue, Luffy, was unveiled in front of the Kumamoto Prefectural Government Office in 2018, and the last one, Jinbei, was placed in Sumiyoshi Kaigen Park in 2022.
And they've become popular tourist attractions,
They have.
bringing in fans and boosting the local economy.
Exactly. It's a testament to the power of storytelling and the impact that a series like One Piece can have on people's lives. It goes beyond just entertainment. It inspires people, brings them together, and even helps them heal.
It's truly a remarkable story. But speaking of stories, we haven't even scratched the surface of what makes the One Piece narrative so captivating.
Oh, we've just begun.
There are so many layers to unpack, from those intricate plot lines to those memorable characters, and Oda's masterful use of foreshadowing.
We've got a lot more to talk about.
And that's exactly where we're headed next.
Stay tuned. So we've talked about the world, the characters, the heart of One Piece, but there's this whole other piece of the puzzle. The anime adaptation.
Right, the anime.
It's a beast in its own right, running for over 25 years.
Wow.
Over 1,100 episodes.
That's longer than some people have been alive.
I know, right? It's a testament to the series' enduring popularity.
It really is. But with so many episodes, how closely does the anime actually follow the manga?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a faithful adaptation, or does it, kind of go off on its own tangents?
It's remarkably faithful to the source material, which I think is a big reason why it's been so successful.
Yeah.
It captures the spirit of Oda's storytelling, the humor, the action, the emotional beats.
Mm-hmm.
There are filler arcs, sure, but even those often serve to, flesh out the world or introduce characters that become relevant later on.
It's like those bonus features on a DVD, giving you a
Exactly.
little extra insight into the world.
Right.
But I imagine the animation style has evolved quite a bit over those 25 years.
Oh, absolutely.
Technology has come a long way since the anime first premiered.
Yeah, in the early days, it had this raw, almost nostalgic charm.
Yeah.
It felt very true to Oda's original art style, but as the series progressed, the animation became smoother, more detailed, more dynamic.
Right?
The fight scenes especially have become these breathtaking spectacles of animation.
I bet. Those fight scenes are already so epic in the manga,
Right.
but seeing them animated
Yeah.
with the music and the sound effects and the voice acting
Yeah.
must take them to a whole new level,
It's like watching those epic battles come to life.
right in front of your eyes.
And the voice acting adds another layer of depth to the characters,
Mhm.
bringing out their personalities and emotions
Hmm.
in a way that the manga just can't quite replicate.
Speaking of voice acting, I know the English dub of One Piece has had a bit of a roller coaster ride over the years.
It has.
There was that whole 4Kids entertainment situation, wasn't there?
Yes, the 4Kids era.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a dark chapter in One Piece's dubbing history. They took a lot of liberties with the source material, censoring content, changing the music, even adding this, let's just say unique rap theme song.
A rap theme song.
Yeah,
Really? That's hard to imagine.
it
That
was
doesn't exactly scream pirate adventure, does it?
certainly a choice.
Good choice.
Thankfully, Funimation Entertainment, which later became Crunchyroll,
Right?
acquired the license in 2007 and started producing a new English dub that was much more faithful to the original.
Good.
They kept the Japanese music, reduced the censorship, and brought in a talented cast of voice actors who really captured the spirit of the characters.
It's good to know that English-speaking fans can now experience One Piece in a way that's closer to Oda's original vision.
For sure.
But let's move beyond the TV series for a moment
Okay.
and talk about the One Piece movies.
Oh, yes.
I hear there are quite a few of them.
There are 15 animated One Piece films,
15.
each with its own unique story and animation style.
Wow.
And they're not just rehashes of the TV series. They often introduce new characters, explore different parts of the world, and even delve deeper into the lore and backstory of the One Piece universe.
So they're worth watching. 15 movies, that's a lot of pirate adventures.
It is.
Are there any standout films that you'd recommend to fans?
One Piece film, Strong World, which was released in 2009,
Okay.
is a fan favorite, and for good reason.
Yeah.
It was the first One Piece film to be entirely written by Eiichiro Oda himself.
Wow.
It's got an original story with a powerful new villain, stunning animation, some incredible action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
It was a huge box office success, becoming one of the highest-grossing anime films of all time.
So definitely a must-see for any One Piece fan.
Absolutely.
What other films would you recommend?
One Piece film Z, released in 2012,
Okay.
features a former admiral-turned-antagonist, Zephyr, who poses a serious threat to the Straw Hats and the world government.
Oh, wow.
The animation is top-notch, the battles are epic, and the story has some real emotional weight to it.
Yeah.
And we can't forget One Piece film Gold, which
Right.
came out in 2016.
Okay.
It's set in this dazzling casino city called Gran Tesoro, ruled by a charismatic villain with the power to control gold.
Interesting.
It's visually stunning,
Hmm.
with some really fun action sequences and a great heist plot.
Oh, I like a good heist.
And then there's One Piece, Stampede, from 2019.
Stampede. I've heard great things about that one.
It's like a One Piece all-star game,
Right.
bringing together tons of characters from throughout the series.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a celebration of the franchise, with pirates from all over the world gathering for this festival that quickly turns into this chaotic battle royale.
Sounds fun.
If you want to see all your favorite characters in action, this is the movie for you.
Definitely adding that to my watch list.
And the most recent film is One Piece film Red,
Okay.
which came out in 2022, and it focuses on Shanks, one of the most enigmatic and powerful pirates in the One Piece world.
Shanks, he's such a fascinating character.
He is.
He's like this legendary figure,
Mm-hmm.
always lurking in the background, influencing events, but never fully revealing his hand.
Right.
I'm curious to see how the movie explores his past and his motivations.
It definitely delves deeper into his character, and it introduces this new character, Uda, who has this connection to Shanks that I won't spoil here.
Ooh, mysterious.
Let's just say it adds another layer of intrigue to the One Piece world.
It's amazing to see how Oda continues to expand this universe, even after all these years.
He's a master.
But let's not forget about the manga.
Of course not.
The story's still unfolding, and things are getting really exciting as we head towards the final saga.
Oh, absolutely. The manga is currently in the Egghead arc, and it's a wild ride.
What's happening?
New discoveries, surprising alliances, and some major revelations about the world and its history.
Sounds too juicy.
It's definitely a turning point in the series.
I can't wait to see how it all plays out. But I heard there's a bit of a pause coming up.
There is.
Oda announced a hiatus for the Egghead arc, right?
Yes, he announced a 6-month hiatus starting in October 2024.
6 months.
It's not the end, though.
Okay.
The arc is set to resume in April 2025,
All right.
and it'll be broadcast in a brand new time slot on Fuji TV.
Interesting. 6 months, that's going to feel like an eternity for One Piece fans.
It will?
But at least there's something to tide us over during the break, right?
There is.
I read something about some special broadcasts.
Yes. First up is the special titled One Piece Fan Letter, which sounds like it'll be a celebration of the series and its fans.
Okay.
And then, starting in November, there will be this 21-episode re-edited version of the Fishman Island arc,
Fishman Island.
titled One Piece Log, a Fishman Island saga.
A re-edited version of Fishman Island. That's interesting.
Yeah.
What's so special about it? Is it just a simple rebroadcast or are they adding something new?
It's not just a rebroadcast.
Right.
They're retouching the art, enhancing details, improving the color shading and lighting, updating the special effects for some of the scenes, and even adding a brand new Dolby Atmos soundtrack.
Wow. Talk about the glow up.
Right.
It'll be like experiencing Fishman Island for the first time all over again, but with enhanced visuals and sound.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But back to the Egghead arc. When does that return? Late April 2025.
April 28th, 2025. That's when the Egghead arc is scheduled to resume in its new time slot on Fuji TV.
Okay.
One Piece Log. Fishman Island Saga will premiere on November 3rd and run until then.
Right.
It's going to be a long wait, but hopefully these special broadcasts will make the time go by a little faster.
I am definitely marking it down in my calendar.
Good.
And this new time slot, does that mean anything for the future of the anime? Is it a sign that One Piece is entering its final phase?
It could be.
Mm-hmm.
Oda has stated that the manga is about 80% complete, and he's even hinted at some of the things he has planned for the ending. It feels like we're approaching the climax of this grand adventure.
Yeah. But it's not just the manga and the anime, is it?
Oh, no.
There's also the Netflix live-action adaptation to consider.
That's right. That's a whole other layer of the One Piece phenomena.
It is. The first season, which premiered earlier this year, covers the East Blue Saga, which is the beginning of Luffy's journey.
Right.
It introduces the core Straw Hat crew, their personalities, their backstories, their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Adapting a series as beloved and as complex as One Piece into live action must have been a daunting task.
It must have been.
How did they handle it? Did they manage to capture the spirit of the original?
The response has been overwhelmingly positive.
Really?
Fans and critics alike have praised the casting, the faithfulness to the source material, and the way they managed to capture the heart, the humor, and the sense of adventure that makes One Piece so special.
That's great to hear. It's a testament to the dedication of the cast and crew and to Oda's involvement in the project.
Absolutely.
I'm glad they're doing this series justice.
Me too.
And there's a second season coming, right?
That's right. Oda himself confirmed it just a few weeks ago. The details are still under wraps, but it's exciting to know that the live-action adaptation will continue.
It is.
It's a chance for a whole new audience to experience the world of One Piece in a fresh and exciting way.
So there's a lot to look forward to for One Piece fans, even with the manga hiatus.
Definitely.
But with all this talk about the series nearing its end, I have to ask the question that's on everyone's mind.
Mm-hmm.
What is the One Piece?
That, my friend, is the million-berry question, isn't it?
It is.
Oda has kept it a secret for over 2 decades.
It's the ultimate mystery.
Right.
The driving force behind the entire series. We've followed Luffy and his crew for hundreds of chapters and episodes, and we still don't know what they're searching for.
It's crazy.
But I guess that's part of the fun, right? The anticipation, the speculation, the endless possibilities.
Exactly. It keeps us engaged, it keeps us theorizing, it keeps us coming back for more.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that when Oda finally reveals the truth, it's going to be something truly spectacular.
It's going to be a moment that goes down in manga and anime history.
For sure.
But for now, the mystery remains.
It does.
And that's probably for the best.
Yeah.
After all, the journey is just as important as the destination.
Right.
And in the world of One Piece, the journey has been nothing short of extraordinary.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But even with all its success and critical acclaim,
Yeah.
One Piece isn't without its critics.
True.
There are some aspects of the series that have sparked debate
Mm-hmm.
among fans and critics alike.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Even the greatest stories have their flaws.
Of course.
So let's dive into some of those potentially choppy waters and see what those criticisms are all about. So let's be real for a second. Even with its record-breaking success and millions of fans, One Piece does have its critics. What are some of the things people complain about?
Well, one of the biggest things, especially for people just getting into it, is just how long it is.
Yeah.
Over 1,100 anime episodes and over 100 manga volumes, it can be intimidating.
It's a lot to commit to. It's like staring up at Mount Everest and thinking, do I really want to climb all the way up there? But for those who do make the climb, is it worth it? Does the story actually justify its length, or does it get bogged down with, extra stuff or filler?
That's really up to each person. But I think Oda does a really good job of keeping the story engaging, even over such a long time. He's constantly bringing in new characters, new challenges, new mysteries. There's always something happening, always something to look forward to.
So it's not just the same formula over and over. There's real character development, the plot moves forward, and the world is actually being built throughout the whole series.
Absolutely. The characters grow and change, the world gets bigger, and the stakes get higher. It's not just about Luffy finding the One Piece. It's about everything he and his crew go through along the way. The friendships, the fights, the things they learn.
It sounds like Oda is playing the long game, building a story that unfolds over time and rewards those who stick with it. But what about the pacing? I've heard some people say the anime especially can be a bit slow at times.
Yeah, that's a fair point. The anime does have those moments where things slow down, especially during some of the fight scenes. Sometimes it feels like they're drawing things out just to fill the time.
Right, those moments when you're just like, come on already.
Yay.
But is it a constant problem, or is it more like a once-in-a-while thing?
It's not a constant issue, thankfully. There are plenty of fast-paced, action-packed parts in the anime, but it's something to keep in mind, especially if you're used to anime that's a bit more streamlined.
So maybe patience is key with One Piece. But what about the power levels? I've heard some people argue that they become inconsistent in later arcs, with characters suddenly getting new abilities or power-ups that just seem a bit too convenient.
That's been a hot topic among fans for years. Some people feel like Oda has deviated from the original power levels, making some characters seem either too strong or too weak, depending on the situation. It's complicated, and there's no easy answer.
I guess that's what happens when you have a story that goes on for over 20 years. Things are bound to change and evolve and, well, maybe get a little messy along the way. But
Yeah.
what about the female characters? How are they portrayed? I know that's been a big topic of discussion in a lot of anime and manga.
There have been criticisms, especially in the earlier parts of One Piece, that some of the female characters fall into certain tropes. There's a focus on their looks, and sometimes they end up as damsels in distress. It's not unique to One Piece, but it's something fans have pointed out.
That's fair. Representation is important, and it's always great to see strong, complex, and diverse female characters who are more than just someone to be saved or ogled at. Has there been any improvement in that area as the series has gone on?
I think Oda has definitely tried to address those concerns. In the newer arcs, you see more female characters who have their own agency, their own goals, and their own strengths. They're not just sidekicks or love interests, they're actively involved in the story, fighting right alongside the men and making a difference in the world.
That's good to hear. It's important for creators to listen to their fans and try to do better with representation in their stories. But even with these criticisms, it's obvious that One Piece has really connected with people all over the world. What do you think it is about this series, even with its flaws, that keeps so many people coming back?
I think it all comes back to those basic ideas at the heart of the story. Friendship, adventure, going after your dreams, never giving up, and believing in yourself.
Hmm.
Those are themes that resonate with everyone, no matter where you're from, and Oda's just really good at presenting them in a way that's both fun and meaningful.
It's a story that makes you laugh and cry and cheer and think all at the same time. And that's pretty rare.
It really is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of One Piece, I have one final question for all of you listening out there. If you were setting sail on the Grand Line, what kind of devil fruit power would you want?
Think of the possibilities. The power to control fire, transform into a mythical creature, maybe even manipulate gravity. The choice is yours.
And what legendary treasure would you be searching for? Would it be fame, fortune, power, or something even greater, something that goes beyond material wealth?
What really drives you? What inspires you? What would you risk it all for? That's the true essence of One Piece.
Think about it and let us know your thoughts and theories. Share them in the comments below or on social media. Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to those Wikipedia articles and all the resources we mentioned today. Thanks for joining us on this epic journey. Until next time, keep your sights set on the horizon and let the spirit of adventure fill your sails.